Good afternoon, Ms. Smith. Can you please tell us your full name
Cassandra Sue Smith.
and your relationship to the victim in this case, Colton Wright?
Colton was my nephew.
Do you have a statement that you would like to read to His Honor this afternoon?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, with your permission, Ms. Smith will read her statement.
She may.
Judge Krug, thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts. Colton was a beloved and precious part of our family. Everyone that knew him loved him deeply and unconditionally. His loss is indescribably painful. Our family has been shattered to its core. On the night of December 9th, 2021, my life was forever changed. Colton was more like a son to me than a nephew. We were extremely close. There have been times I have been paralyzed with grief. Having to witness my youngest sister bury her beautiful, amazing, full of life youngest son will forever haunt me. My nephew was a bright light in our family, and every birthday, every holiday, every milestone that he is missing is absolutely heartbreaking. I will never understand why the defendant chose to end Colton's life in such a brutal way. He had a choice and chose to end my sweet nephew's life, which is unforgivable. He took away my nephew, but he certainly does not have the power to take away my beautiful memories and love that is in my heart. I ask that Brennan Wakey please receive the maximum sentence that can possibly be given.
Thank you, ma'am. That'll be your first step.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Next.
State calls Olivia Spangler.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Spangler.
Hello.
Will you tell us your full name, please, and spell your last name?
Olivia Grayson Spangler, Spangler.
And will you tell us your relationship to Colton, please?
He was a dear friend of mine.
Okay. Would you like to read a statement to His Honor?
I would, yes, please.
May we have your permission to continue?
Judge Krug, my name is Olivia Spangler, and I'm here today to speak about my dear friend, Colton Wright. Excuse me, sorry. Colton and I grew up together in Covington, Indiana. Later in life, we both ended up living here in Sarasota, Florida. No matter where life took us, that connection of growing up together always stayed with us. One of the things I loved most about Colton was the way he could make me laugh. Some of my best memories in life are with him. We spent so much time growing up riding our mopeds, driving around on the golf cart, and just enjoying being young and carefree. In high school, we had so many moments together that I'll never forget, even things like skipping school and driving around in the snow. Those memories might seem small, but to me, they were some of the happiest times of my life. Colton was always there for me. He was someone who stood in my corner and supported me no matter what. We shared so much life together growing up, and he was the kind of friend everyone deserves to have. Losing Colton has left a hole in my life that will never be filled. He should still be here making people laugh, making memories, and living the life he deserved. He would have even been invited to my upcoming wedding. Instead, his life was taken by someone he trusted, someone who was supposed to care about him. That betrayal is something that is still hard to understand. It has been more than 4 years since Colton was taken from us, but the pain of losing him is still very real. His family, his friends, and everyone who loved him continue to live with that loss every single day. Colton deserved to live his life. He deserved to grow older, to build his future, and to continue bringing joy to the people around him. Because of that, Your Honor, I respectfully ask that you impose the maximum sentence allowed for the person responsible for taking his life. Colton deserved a lifetime, and the person who took that from him should face the full consequence of that choice. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of one of my best friends. Sincerely, Olivia Spangler.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next person that I'd like to address the court is Lisa Williams. And that is a statement that she's asking me to read in her behalf. May I?
You may.
Judge Krug, Colton Wright was my nephew. We have a large family, and each and every one of us have been affected by his death. He was very much loved by so many people, not just our family. He was full of life and always had a smile on his face. To have someone rip him away from us is probably the hardest and most heartbreaking thing I have ever gone through. To see my sister's face now, his mother Amy, there is a sadness, an emptiness, and a hurt that I know will never leave her. This hurts me terribly. Nothing will ever take that away. Therefore, I ask that Brennan Wakey receive the maximum sentence for the hurt he has caused us all. We will never have the joy of seeing Colton again, but we'll always have our memories. Thank you. I now would like to ask Your Honor to hear a statement from Hillary Wright via Zoom.
All right, can Miss Hillary Wright please unmute?
I saw her name up there earlier. I don't know what happened to the,
Okay, I don't see a Hillary Wright in the Zoom call. Do you have anybody else?
yes. Ms. Thompson, Ms. Amy Thompson, Colton Wright's mother, would like to address the court.
All right, can Miss Thompson please unmute?
No, Ms. Thompson is here in person.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Ms. Thompson, before you start, tell us your full name, please.
Amy Jo Thompson, Thonpson.
Okay, and your relationship to Colton?
I am his mother.
Okay, I need you to sit up a little closer to the microphone and speak into it.
Judge Krug, as you can imagine, this is extremely difficult and certainly nothing I would ever have imagined I would have to do. I sit before you as a mother who has been grieving the loss of her son for over 4 years. Colton was killed in one of the most unimaginable ways. I want to now tell you about my son, the person, not the case number or that guy, as so rudely referred to during the trial by the defense team. My son, Colton John Wright, was born on June 30th, 1997 in Danville, Illinois. He was my second child. He has an older brother, Clayton, who is also grieving immensely by the loss of his brother. When God gave me Colton, he immediately gave me a son that would soon become my constant sidekick. Everywhere I went, he went. Colton and I shared a bond that not many other mothers who I know share with their sons. From a young age, Colton was extremely smart. He was a great student and very gifted when it came to his knowledge about any type of electronics. He began having a love of anything motorized by the age of 3 years old. He loved four-wheelers, go-karts, golf carts, and vehicles of all types. He would drive down the highway and we would point out a vehicle and he could immediately tell us what type of vehicle it was. He was the go-to young man for so many people when it came to knowledge about electronics and vehicles. Colton was loved by everyone. When I say that, no truer words could be spoken. If he had enemies, I certainly didn't know it. Colton was a worker. He knew in order to have the things he wanted that he needed to work for those things. He had his own car detailing business at the age of 14, as well as his own lawn care business. He also bussed tables at the age of 14 at a local restaurant in our hometown. His dad, stepdad, and I would take him all over to mow lawns. When he wasn't detailing a vehicle, then he was mowing the lawn, and eventually, at the age of 16, started working at a job where he was quickly known as the best worker, constantly receiving compliments from customers, management, and peers. At his visitation, his family, friends, co-workers, and customers came from all over. There were hundreds of people that attended his visitation. At his funeral, it was standing room only. I tell you these things so you can get an idea of just who he was and how many people's lives he affected. Colton would immediately light a room when he entered it. He had a heart of gold. He always wanted to see the best in everyone. That trait of his was both a blessing and a curse at times. He was an avid animal advocate. He was an honor roll student his entire school career, achieving many scholastic honors and awards. He loved family gatherings. He played t-ball, baseball, basketball, and soccer. He was homecoming king of his senior class. He was a volunteer at the local nursing home where I worked, attended and helped with many different fundraisers, attended numerous charity events, and would always root for the underdog in any situation. He truly cared about other people. His first trip here to Florida was when he was 3 years old. We went to Disney World, and he immediately fell in love with Florida. He later had the opportunity to go on vacation with his grandparents and aunt to Florida several times during school breaks. Once he turned 18, he and some of his friends would come to Florida on vacation. When Colton turned 23, he decided that he wanted to move to Florida. This was in 2020 when the restaurant he worked at closed due to COVID. Florida was his favorite vacation spot. He did not really have a solid plan other than knowing a few people in the area he was moving to, and he felt he would not have a problem getting a job as a server. Unfortunately, this move proved to be the worst mistake Colton would make, other than meeting the individual, Brennan Wakey, who took his life. In both February 2021 and July 2021, I came to Florida to spend time with Colton. Both times I went in hopes of showing him how much he was loved and supported and to make sure he was okay, needing to see it for myself. All I wanted was for him to come to the decision to move back home. He felt he still wanted to live in Florida and give living there a little longer to see if it worked out. He lived with his friend Chandler at that time, and I knew she was a good person whom I could trust. Unfortunately, after my visit in July is when things started spiraling once he met Brennan Wakey. It was within just a few days of me leaving that Colton met him online. Colton called to tell me about him, and at first things seemed fine. Brennan had his own vehicle, his own home, a job, and seemed to not want for anything. At least that was the picture he painted to Colton. I'm certain this was appealing to Colton because he had the companionship of a new friend. I spoke to Brennan on the phone a few weeks after he and Colton met. He told me how much he cared for Colton, and as a mother, of course, I was very skeptical, especially since they had seemed to become so close so fast. I warned Colton to please be careful, as this person seemed to be too good to be true. The immediate vibe I got from him was con artist. The relationship quickly became what I would describe as toxic. As time went on, Colton told me he was afraid of Brennan and of Brennan's father and an uncle. Of course, this upset me extremely, and I kept reiterating him to get away from him. Brennan had some type of hold on him, and I assumed that was through him providing drugs and a place to stay. Our last phone conversation, other than texting, Colton said he was getting away from Brennan and that he was going to move back home. I told him my husband and I would help him as we had always done. I will never be able to forget the night a police officer came to my home to tell me my son was found dead in a hotel room in Sarasota, Florida. As I type this letter, I can still feel the pain in my stomach and the immediate shock I went into. I felt as if a hole had just been ripped right through the middle of my heart. I was in denial. This could not be true. This is what I kept telling myself. That was on December 9th, 2021 at 11:30 p.m. All I wanted to do was get on a plane and go see my son, my baby, whom I love with every ounce of my being. I just wanted to see him and to hold him. I remember calling my husband, telling him to get home from work, and then my son Clayton telling him to come to the house right away. Those moments still haunt me and seem unreal. That was by far the worst night of my entire life. I then called Brennan Wakey's cell number, which I had programmed in my phone. I knew right away it was him without even being told. My intuition knew it. I was in total shock. I don't even know why I did that, other than scream into the phone asking him what had he done to Colton. The way that Colton's death has affected me has been beyond traumatic. I do not sleep well. I have horrible dreams. I am sad, angry, upset, and miserable many times. My work has suffered. I've had to take weeks of my life off from my job due to these trips back and forth to Florida for hearings, meetings, and for my own mental health. My relationships are not what they used to be. I went from being a happy and outgoing person to being withdrawn, depressed, and unhappy much of the time. I think about Colton constantly. I worry if he knew just how much I loved him. I worry if he knew just how many family members and friends loved him who are grieving this tragic loss. Was Colton perfect? No one is. He had his share of mistakes like we all do. I do know that by his life being taken in such a horrendous and horrific way, that the void in my life feels as if I will never find complete happiness again. I still wait to receive a text, a phone call, or to see a post online from him. You always hear of parents who lose a child and wonder how they even go on with their own life. Now I am that parent. Every single day of my life, I have to live with the fact knowing that a smug, arrogant, entitled individual thought he could get away with murdering my son and that he would not be caught or that he could buy his way out of it, as he loved to brag to people about. Brennan Wakey is not what he loves to portray himself to be. He does not deserve to ever be released from prison. He is a despicable human being who deserves life in prison without the possibility of parole, but unfortunately, since he received the verdict of manslaughter and tampering with evidence instead of murder in the second degree, that is not what he will receive. I ask, though, why should he ever be given any freedom? The only thing he deserves is to be behind bars to think about what he did to my son, someone he claimed to love and care about every single day for the rest of his life. He has had 4 years of freedom. I ask that Brennan Wakey receive the 30-year maximum sentence for manslaughter and the 5-year maximum sentence for tampering with evidence. I have waited 4 years to sit before you, Brennan Wakey, to look you in your face so you can say the pain that you have caused me. Unfortunately, I am well aware that you have zero remorse for killing my son, Colton John Wright. If you had, you would not have shot him, stole his laptop and cell phone, and fled from the Hyatt Hotel to then flee to your home and your father's home and then lie about it all. Let us also not forget that the gun you murdered him with has never been found. A person with a soul and who was remorseful would have immediately called 911. But no, you chose to be the conniving little coward you are and always will be, and killed my son, shooting him in the face and then firing a second shot. I have had to endure 4 years of your tauntings on social media posts, bragging that you were going to be even more famous than Kim Kardashian and Casey Anthony, and watching you in person and via Zoom use your best acting skills to act as if you were the victim. You disgrace me and you are appalling. You may sit there in your orange jumpsuit looking the part of a person who claims he was defending himself, but you and I both know you are nothing other than a cold-blooded, arrogant, entitled little person who thought you would get away with killing Colton. I would love to know what went on in that sick and twisted mind of yours. Did you really think that no one would catch you? I am 100% convinced that part of you hated the fact that you had zero friends and Colton was loved and adored by everyone. I specifically remember asking Colton if you and he ever hung out with any of your friends, and he said you did not have any friends other than anyone he introduced you to, but none of them liked you because you acted possessive and jealous and made them nervous, always carrying a gun and making sure they all knew it. You and your defense team have tried to pull every little trick and delay you and they could think of for 4 years. I have had to just wait and wait for this day to arrive to let you know that not only in my eyes and everyone who loved Colton, that you are nothing short of a walking, breathing monster who I hope suffers every single day of your miserable life. You have had the privilege of walking the streets and living your life after killing Colton. all while my family and I have suffered in agony, never getting to see or talk to him again. You have celebrated your birthdays and holidays, things we will never get to do with Colton again. One thing that did bring me a little bit of joy recently was knowing you were behind bars on your most recent 30th birthday, a milestone, but most likely still with that smug look on your pathetic face thinking you didn't deserve to be there. You love to wave your gun around and act like a tough guy to try to prove that you had power over Colton. I know this not only through my son, but through others. But look at you, you're nothing but a little man who is going to be well-liked in prison, I have no doubt. You won't have that gun to wave around and protect yourself then. Your obsession with my son was evident, and by you trying to paint him out to be something other than someone you took full advantage of is sick and twisted just like you. You are not some Ivy League Boy Scout that you like to portray yourself to be. I know.
Your Honor,
I am almost done.
I'm going to object to this
Let's let her finish.
I am almost done.
characterization.
Ma'am, hold on.
You're evil, vindictive.
Hold on, please. I have the ability to consider and not consider. Much of this I will not consider in my decision-making process, as the law would not permit it. Please continue and finish.
I'm almost finished, Your Honor. You are evil, vindictive, and conniving. May you rot in hell for eternity, and may every moment for the rest of your miserable life be spent living in fear, just as my son lived his final moments with his cell phone in his hand, having enough bravery and mindfulness to take photos of you, the monster that killed him. I am a Christian, and as Christians we are taught to forgive others, but I can promise you that will never happen when it comes to you. I loathe you with every ounce of my being and will never forgive you, Brennan Wakey. Amy Thompson, mother of Colton Wright. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Colton Wright,
wait a second, I can come forward for a moment.
I'm sorry?
Can you come forward to the bench?
You may. Let's just wait for Ms. Fragler to be here. Can you approach as well, Ms. Fragler? Yes. Okay. Let me see. Do you plan on showing this at a sentencing hearing, Ms. Fragler? No, she's not putting this in. Oh, okay. Let's do this. Oh, I see what you're saying. Let's have the state go, and then I'll consider anything that you want. Me too as well. Yeah, all right. Look, I sat in this trial. I heard all the evidence. I heard the evidence of the drug use, the violence between them. So this is an opportunity for the family to get and give their perspective as well as to the Mr. Wright, other than what I've heard in the trial. But I'll consider everything that I've learned throughout the trial as well. Okay. I think this person named Hillary Wright came back into the courtroom. Ms. Fragler, is this someone who's going to speak?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Okay. Is Miss Hillary Wright there?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we have her present. Go ahead, Ms. Fragler.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wright. Can you please tell us your full name
Hillary Wright,
and spell your last name?
Wright.
And what is your relationship to Colton Wright?
He was my best friend.
Would you like to read a statement to his honor this afternoon?
Yes, ma'am.
May we have your permission?
You may.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Wright.
Thank you. Your Honor, my name is Hillary Wright, and I am here because the defendant took the life of my best friend, Colton. I want to be very clear. Colton was not just a case number and not just a victim. He was my best friend and someone I loved deeply. Someone who mattered, someone who should still be here today, and the only reason he is not is because of the choices the defendant made. Colton had the absolute best spirit. He truly didn't know a stranger. Anyone he met became a friend within minutes. That's just who he was. He brought light into every room he walked into, and people were naturally drawn to him. My oldest son loved Colton, and Colton loved him right back. That kind of love and that kind of connection, that's what was taken from us. I still hear his laugh from all of our adventures on the river and our spontaneous trips to Florida we took one night. Those are moments I replay in my mind because they're all I have left now. To the defendant, you didn't just take one life, you destroyed many. You killed our Colton and left him alone in a hotel room. You didn't help him, you didn't call for help, you ran away and left him there like his life didn't matter. Because of you, Colton died alone. That is something I will never be able to understand and something you will never be able to undo. And while Colton was gone, while we were grieving, trying to survive the pain you caused, you were out living your life with no remorse at all. You were granted bond, and you got to live freely for over 3 years. 3 years of freedom while Colton has none. 3 years of making memories while we were left mourning someone we will never see again. That is not justice, and that is not fair. It makes this loss even harder to carry. I am very close with Colton's mother, Amy. I have watched what this has done to her. I've seen the pain, the grief, and the weight she carries every single day. No mother should ever have to live without her child, especially not like this. You didn't just take her son, you broke her heart in a way that can never be repaired. Because of you, I have to live with the permanent emptiness. I have to wake up every day knowing I will never hear Colton's voice again, never laugh with him again, never see him walk into a room. You don't get to undo that. You don't get to fix that because this is forever. You made a choice, whether it took seconds or minutes. You made a decision that ended a life and shattered everyone who loved him. And now we are the ones serving the consequences of what you did. I really want you to understand what you've done, if that's even possible. You didn't just end a life, you erased a future. Colton will never get to grow older, never get to reach his dreams, and never get to experience the life he truly deserved. And the rest of us are left carrying that loss. There is anger in me that I will carry for the rest of my life because of what you did. Or ever forgotten. You took someone irreplaceable from this world, and nothing will ever make that right. Colton deserved to live. He deserved more than what you gave him, and I will never stop grieving the life you took. I hope the court sees the full weight of this loss and understands the damage you caused goes far beyond this courtroom. It lives in me, and it will stay with me for the rest of my life. That is what you have done. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the state next.
Yes, the state calls Mr. Wright and Mrs. Wright. They are the father and stepmother of Colton.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I've been asked to read this on behalf of both his dad and myself.
Okay, before you start, ma'am, why don't you tell us your full name and spell your last name?
Marcy Marie Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T.
Brian Wright.
Okay, and your relationship to Colton are father and stepmother?
That is correct.
Father.
Father and stepmother, yes. Okay. Your Honor, may they proceed?
Thanksgiving of 2021 was the last time we spoke to our son, Colton. 14 days later, Brennan's deliberate and unjustifiable actions ended his life. From that moment forward, we were forced into a reality where we will never again hear Colton's voice, read another I love you too text, or see the smile that defined him. He was only 24 years old. For 4 years and 52 days, while our son lay in a grave, Brennan Wakey was free to move about Sarasota County without consequence. As we struggled to survive the grief of losing a vibrant son, brother, and friend, Brennan continued to enjoy his life without interruption. His social media posts and his own comments reveal a pattern of disregard for the law, for social norms, and for the basic humanity of others. Throughout this trial, the defense repeatedly emphasized Brennan's concealed carry license. But responsible training is clear. You shoot to stop, not shoot to kill. The purpose is to halt an imminent unlawful threat, not to ensure fatal outcome. The photograph taken at Brennan's December 2021 arrest shows a man without a single defensive mark on him. He was unharmed, yet he made a conscious, irreversible choice that ended Colton's life. During the trial, Brennan showed no remorse, not once. His demeanor reflected indifference to the life he took and the devastation he caused. A person capable of such an act and capable of walking away from it without a trace of accountability should not receive leniency. The maximum sentence is not only justified, it is necessary to reflect the seriousness of his action and the danger he poses. The only small measure of peace we have is knowing that Colton did not suffer. We respectfully urge you to consider Brennan's mental instability, his consistent disregard for human life, and the profound permanent harm he has caused, determining your final sentencing today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.